Python is the most used programming language for machine learning and data science. The prominent language that everyone has adopted mysteriously rose to fame. It's like everyone just agreed on using Python for data science and machine learning. Also, why is every beginner starting out with Python? I remember writing my first Hello World program in Python in an IC Code classroom and thought, programming can't be this easy. Years later, I decided to research on this topic and quickly fell into a rabbit hole of intriguing articles about the dinosaur age of programming. In 1991, Python 0.9 was released by the benevolent dictator Fido van Rossum. The Python community gave him the title of the benevolent dictator because of his firm decision making. By coincidence, an organization that you may have heard of wanted a workflow automation system. NASA gave an official order to the United Space Alliance, the main shuttle support contractor for NASA, to provide this software. The software had to achieve the gold standard of development, which is cheap, reliable and fast, which till today most projects can only achieve 2 out of the 3 criteria. Achieving all 3 would be impossible, and even more so back in the 90s. With such a tall order, the senior project manager, Robin Frederick, had to come up with a solution. Given a tight deadline of only a year, Robin had to find a way to execute this project. By pure chance, Robin stumbled upon Python when he was surfing the web gopher FTP space. In 20 minutes, he downloaded, compiled, and installed the language. Immediately, Python worked right out of the box. And this was a huge deal back in the 90s. No other language had this trait. Robin's mind was absolutely blown by the language's dynamic typing, pseudocode-like syntax, and the Python interpreter. With that, the popularity of Python literally skyrocketed. That should have been the end of Python's elusive history. At least that was what I thought. Surprisingly, nobody really used Python to develop AI software or manage data with it. Take for example, IBM's Deep Blue. Developed in 1997, 7 years after Python was released. Deep Blue was made to play chess. Think of it as an early version of Stockfish. Anyway, this AI managed to defeat Garry Kasparov in a rematch. Yet, the AI was written in C++. Even later AI models like Watson, developed in 2004 to play the game show Jeopardy, was written in Java, C++, and Prolog. With many dead ends and mysteries, I tried to find the first use of Python in data science and found an article that blew my mind. An article published in the year 2000 titled Scientific Computing with Python describes in great detail about how Python helped to solve problems in data science and simulations, the closest thing to what we have now. This could possibly be the first time an organization used Python for data science, which laid the groundwork for modern day Python. Oh, and guess what? The article was published by NASA. Scientists in the past faced many problems interacting with the C source code of a simulation tool. The team of scientists would spend more time fighting the C source code than work on their projects. Even when they tried to improve the interface, their productivity would not increase. This was still the late 90s and early 2000s, so the scientists running these experiments used a command line interface, which looked like this. Here is where Python came along. The English-like code was a pleasure to work with. Scientists with little programming language could understand what the code did and how to work with the Python interface. As such, the team spent writing a Python wrapper for the C code. A wrapper in programming is basically a layer of software that helps the user interact with an underlying layer of software. Think of this as Python being the touchscreen between your fingers and your phone, and a bad interface would be those phone keyboards. Yeah, those were the C interfaces. Having Python be an interface increased productivity to a point where tasks that took 3 to 4 hours took a mere 10 seconds.
Operation for parachute deploy. The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed and we are seeing significant deceleration.
Scientists later started experimenting with using Python to interact with their data analyst tool, and here we see the early groundworks that created modern day Python. Till today, Python is being used as a wrapper for AI tools like TensorFlow, NumPy, and Pandas. Yes, those tools that you love were not written in Python but written in C and had a Python wrapper over them. The ease of use, flexibility, and readability meant that scientists could spend more time running experiments and simulations than debugging countless errors. With these special properties, Python became the powerhouse of data science and machine learning.